The pain train of Manchester United. It doesn't stop. The train doesn't stop at any stations. It's just all the way, full send into absolute oblivion. And the injury record continues to increase and worsen. The crisis, it doesn't go away. And perhaps some investigations on the medical department might be in store, might be in the works, or should be in the works, because now the main striker, who technically shouldn't be the main striker of Manchester United, is now injured. Somebody who's coming to scoring form, somebody who's been bagging consistently, and now he cannot do so, not at least for the next 3 to 4 games, which is a big problem. It's a big problem because no one else really is leading that line. So we're stuck for options, I think. Of course, Martial, he's not really a Manchester United player anymore because he's not going to play for the club ever again. His contract is done in the summer. Um, and beyond that, everybody else is essentially on loan. So, yeah, this game tomorrow is not looking too hot. It's not looking too hot at all. And the big question is what does the attack look like tomorrow? Who do we go with? What sort of formation? Like in terms of the dynamic, how does it work? How is the front three going to work? How is that going to operate? How's the midfield going to interact with the front three as well? I mean, we're going to be missing first team left back in Luke Shaw as well. You know, Dalot's the only option for the right. What kind of front three is it that we're dealing with here? Probably, if I were to hatch a guess towards it, maybe Rashford plays up top, Garnacho plays on the left, and Anthony comes into the team on the right. That's probably what we're going to be looking at. And yeah, it's not too hot, that, because I don't think there's a lot of people out there that are that excited or determined to see Rashford playing as the leading man, as the striker in the number 9 position. I think a lot of people believe that his best work is not done in the number 9, but rather out on the left-hand side. And even on the left-hand side, he's not that fantastically good. So, yeah, it's like in a card game, this. Maybe Cards Against Humanity. Let's say Cards Against Humanity. So the cards are, pulls a card and you look at it and everyone else is going, oh yeah, I've got the perfect selection, got the perfect option, right? You, on the other hand, Manchester United, have got all the worst cards you could possibly have for that card, the black card in the middle. Nothing really works, nothing really makes sense. So you've just got to play the best card or cards that you've got at your selection. And that's kind of the moral of the story as far as team selection goes tomorrow afternoon. And it's a real big spanner in the works because, again, as I've said previously, with as far as consistency in the team goes, switching up a team is going to cause inconsistencies. It's new bonds or new partnerships that you're going to have to try playing with, and it probably imposes that we're going to have a bit more of a strangers complex, with this team, with players not really understanding each other being on the same wavelength. Some misplaced passes a lot of the time, and not passes that don't match runs that don't open opportunities for a pass, things like that. And it's dipping back into the prime of the season that we've had thus far, where we win a game, lose a game, win a game, lose a game, but at the same time the team is shifting every single week. And there's a big danger, a huge danger, that we're going to go straight back to that. And if that's going to be the case, I think we can easily forget about Champions League football. Easily. Europa League is a question mark. Conference League, it's a question mark. Things can go from looking okay with the points accumulation, you know, in all comps, 5 wins on the bounce. Yeah, it's looking good. It's looking good. Or in the past 7 in all comps, I think it's the last 7. Um, pretty much 6 wins, 1 draw. So points accumulation is relatively good. It's all right. We'll take that, of course. But performance is still not so good. We're sort of relying a little bit, just a little bit here, on moments in games or passages of play where United are pretty much playing intense, fast-paced, direct attacking football and really creating some clear-cut chances. And the biggest problem that we've got is in those games where we've had those moments, it's been Rasmus Hojland that has been converting those chances. And, that's a big deal. It becomes a huge, huge deal if in those games now, let's take Rasmus Hojland out of there and let's put somebody else in. Now, this word that Forsen, I think it's Amari Forsen, is set to perhaps be given a start. There's question marks about whether that's going to be a go-to option for Erik ten Hag. Whether he is going to play Forsen or not, I don't really know. For me, at this point, if Rashford stays on the left and Garnacho stays on the right and you just play somebody else up top, though some people might say, look, play Scott McTominay, play him up there as a false number 9 and then Bruno in behind him. I mean, if for their sakes they want that to happen, then go right ahead, go for it. Start him up top, right? And I'd like to see just where that goes. Because if it goes horrendously wrong, at least I know I'm completely right about Scott McTominay. But if it goes well, then hey ho, if I get proven wrong, then I'm not going to sit around and complain about it. As it's beneficial to the team, and we win. The team wins, and if the team's winning, then the fan base wins as well. So I can't have any complaints. As to who starts, for me, I haven't the slightest clue. Honestly, I wouldn't know which answer to give you. I wouldn't know which answer to give you. If anybody else knows, if anybody else has any ideas as to who they would have starting, in fact, if you're watching on playback or if you're watching live now, pop it in the comment section. Pop it in the comment section. Who starts if Hojland's not fit and available? Who starts in the number 9? And essentially, what does the rest of the team around that position look like? Because that it throws absolutely all sorts of carnage and chaos into team selections or team predictions. I'd say perhaps for argument's sake, we do play Forsen up top, just for the sake of it. That I see that some opinions have said just because you lose a key asset there shouldn't mean that you have to start playing musical chairs with the with who starts in what position. You don't have to play musical team sheets. Keep things as close to the same as possible, but just change the name that starts in the position where the player's not available. Maybe that's the option that we go with, to try and keep everything as close to the same as possible. And that, to me, sounds like a logic I can back. That sounds like a logic that I can back. And that's probably the safest bet to really, to hash with this. But it is just about who starts. Who's available, who starts. It's anyone's guess right now. I think for the most part, as far as the rest of the team is concerned, I know there's already the dilemmas about the dilemmas about the left back position and what the defence is going to look like, because of course Luke Shaw's not available, Malati's not available, Wan-Bissaka's still not available, so we essentially got one fit fullback at the club, which is absolutely ridiculous. One fit fullback at the club. So yeah, not really good. It's no good right now. Big up Stephanie Griffith, good to see you. Hope you're well. Anthony Garnacho, Rashford just need to step up. So essentially, you would go with Rashford up top. I'm assuming, Stephanie. You going with Rashford up top with Garnacho on the left and Anthony on the right, or is there a different approach that you're making to this? Because to me, I'd be contemplating somebody else to start up top, keeping Rashford on the left and Garnacho on the right. But then that is just about the striker who starts up there. Maybe Amari Forson is the best option that we've got, or the best bet that we have to playing somebody up top. Because there's not really anybody else in that team. I mean, most people would say, well, Marcus Rashford, but everybody knows that he's not really a number 9, and if it all goes tits up, then it's kind of like, well, what else have we got? Really, what else have we got? Maybe it's a case that you take a chance on someone like a Forson, and if he plays well, then do you know what? Let's give him another shot. If he adapts to into the first team picture, it's like testing with sink or swim. I suppose you could say Louis van Gaal did it with the United team. You just randomly, next match weekend, another youth academy prospect makes the first team, and you get to see them play a couple games. They either sink or swim, and then somebody else comes through. It feels like Ten Hag is sort of having to be forced down that avenue here, and it's absolute madness that this has to be the case, considering Manchester United have had, what is it now, 15 players, 15 different players have been injured at any point this season. That's literally a full starting 11 plus 3 players off of a bench. Plus 4 players off of a bench. A whole starting 11 plus 4. That many players in the first team picture have been injured for Manchester United this season. Has that really ever happened before? Like, has there been another team that has had that many different players injured? I know that there's been injury crises where you can get like some key players, 2, 3, 4 key players that get injured at reoccurring stages of the season. I've seen that before plenty of times, and that really does get labelled as an injury crisis. But 15 different players, different injuries at different times. I mean, maybe we should, maybe we should indulge in the conspiracy that the Arsenal doctor that we signed literally came on a sabotage mission to try and destroy Manchester United, or to stop us from getting good again, from ever getting good again. Maybe that's what's going on here. I'd play Amrabat right back and Dalot at left back. Ooh, Amrabat right back. Here's an interesting one. Kambwala. I know he's come in quite recently at centre-back, but what about Kambwala? The young French academy prospect as well. Whether we say that he would be a solid enough option to playing or filling in at a fullback position, just on the basis that the rest of the defence and midfield are senior players or senior enough players with enough experience to actually help cater to, making the jobs and lives of our younger players easier. That would be ideal. But again, it's kind of like with the striker situation. Do we take the bet on that, or is it, stick with what you know and what you can perhaps guarantee? So I don't know. I don't know. Me, like along, like many other Manchester United fans, we're just at a loss for words with this whole injury crisis this season. I'd play Anthony centrally, physically stronger than Rashford. Well, I'll tell you what, Stephanie. If you play Anthony close in the number 9 position, he's essentially closer to goal anyway. And one thing that he's just not that great with is, getting close enough to goal to create a good enough chance. Maybe Anthony playing, within the 60, was it the 18-yard box, 18 yards slash 6-yard box. If Anthony's playing there, maybe he's in enough dangerous areas, or gets enough half spaces to create himself something, quite possibly, and at least he's not forcing himself into trying to do this typical cut inside, hit it off the left foot kind of curling effort. He's much more central. So he can't really cut inside anywhere. He's already inside. He's got to figure out how he's got to mould his game. Do we take a chance on that? I don't know. I don't know if, and as much as we could say that Anthony's physically stronger than Rashford, maybe body wise, like maybe he tries to, initiate strength, having the say aggression. I think aggression is perhaps the term to describe Anthony's strength, or physicality. It's just aggression, a bit like Martinez. Bit short, of course, yeah, but a little bit of muscle on him. But just the aggression that he uses, it's it complements. Yeah, it's a complementary attribute. The aggression that sort of makes up for everything that Martinez lacks as a centre back, and the confidence as well, like some ballsy confidence. I wish Anthony had the confidence that Martinez had, because we know he can have the ability, but he's got to find a way of showing that. And I think it's fair to say that Anthony on the right wing is not. It's not going to happen. It's not going to work for United. Sorry, it's just those days are done. Those days are done for me. Rashford got his chance with LVG because of injury to James Wilson, I think it was. Took his chance. The rest is history. I think actually, funny you should say that. I think it was actually Martial. I think it was Martial. Let me try and find. Because I swear it was Martial or somebody else was injured in the warm up to that game. Rashford was on the bench anyway, but essentially because the main striker got injured in warm up, he was then brought into the picture. Um, so yeah, so it was against Midtjylland in February 2016. Um, try and find where the game is here. So yeah, it was the second leg to that. So yeah, Marcus Rashford. Oh, I tell you what, mate. Look, let me read out this starting 11 for you and this bench that LVG had. So Sergio Romero in goal, Riley at left back, Blind and Carrick at centre back, Varela at right back, Ander Herrera, Morgan Schneiderlin in midfield, Jesse Lingard on the right, Memphis Depay on the left, Juan Mata at number 10, and Marcus Rashford started up top. We subbed on Marcus Rojo, Regan Paul, and Andreas Pereira in that game. The other 3 substitutes that we had on the bench at the time, we didn't even have 7 subs, because Marcus Rashford was, I think, the 7th sub, was Paddy McNair, Donald Love, and Joel Castro Pereira. What the hell? And we beat Midtjylland 5-1 in that game. Oh my goodness gracious me. Absolutely crazy. The worst part about it, right, is the next game we played Arsenal. We beat them 3-2 there, right? And the team is literally the same as the Midtjylland game, barring Marcus Rojo starting left back and David De Gea starting in goal. Oh my days. Adnan Januzaj was still at the club. He came on. James Weir was on the bench. And Timothy Fosu Mensah. I'm sorry, LVG. I wasn't aware of your game. I wasn't aware of your game. It's absolute mental. Absolutely mental. And to be honest, I don't know about you guys. But I think this team, player for player, is actually a better quality team than that team there that I've just read out that played under LVG. I seriously believe quality-wise it was better. Yeah, it's better now than it was back then. This is why we have an injury crisis. Oh man, up to 5 likes. Good stuff. People keep on smashing them likes and all that good stuff and subscribing. It would be fantastic with the support. So big ups to everybody that is liking and subscribing. Thank you ever so much for everybody that is doing so there. Memories lineups. Oh my days. Do you know what that could literally be an entire show to itself? Literally going down history of the past 10 years and seeing just how crap some of our team lineups were and comparing it to today. Right, this season's team. There are some mad lineups, man. But as far as the score predictions go tomorrow, does it change? Does it change? I mean, maybe. To be honest, if it changes the way that we have, it changes dynamics with Hojland missing from the team. If it changes the dynamics, I mean, as far as the team goes, if I were to quick fire a predicted lineup, I'll probably stick with Onana in goal because he's never going to get dropped. Perhaps Amrabat left back or Victor Lindelof probably at left back. I think Victor Lindelof's probably going to play left back. Maguire around centre backs with Dalot right back. Either that or Lindelof plays on at right back with Dalot on the left back position. Casemiro, Mainu in midfield. Bruno in front of them. And if it was up to me, Rashford left, Garnacho right. And do you know what? Do you know what? I guess we have to go for it. Forcing up top. Hash your bet on it. See just how well they do. Does Forsen sink or swim? If it goes really horrendously wrong and Forsen's just having the worst game you could possibly ever imagine, then of course we can move Rashford up top and bring somebody else on to play in the wingers position. So I'm pretty sure we've got Amad Diallo as well, who can play in the wing position, which might be a plan. It might be a plan, but Anthony is probably going to get the spot ahead of whoever else is playing when it comes to the winger position, which is not an awful lot of fun. But as far as score prediction goes, I went with a 2-0. I went with a 2-0 because I was thinking, well, look, it's at home. There's good things that are going on at the club, and the players are sort of feeling those vibes. So I was hoping that with those vibes and the message, the change in tune at the club, that those players will be riding a bit of a wave of resurgence or a desire to do well, to feel an incentive or a desperation, perhaps a bit of desperation actually, to do well because they know that this club has got serious ownership or a serious plan in place to get this club competing again. And if they're dragging their heels, they know it's not going to be an easy ride for them. They know that their ambitions are going to be challenged. They know that they're going to, face being booted out the door in the summer because, you're on trial. Everybody, I think, is on trial in that squad. So I think for the sake of it, I'll stick with a 2-0. But to be honest, with Hojland going out, I think, can we trust these players? Can we trust these players to actually do a job? Because I'm swerving a little bit more towards a 2-1, or a 1-1 sort of result now. But just for the sake of positivity, just for the sake of positive vibes, guys, positive vibes. Cheers, guys! Positivity. It's all in our hands. A bigger fish to fry. But all things considered, to be honest, I think maybe we do win 2-0. Maybe we get surprised. Maybe we end up having a really comfortable 3-0 result. I'd be pleasantly surprised, but I'm not counting my chickens. I just think, I don't know what sort of Fulham's going to turn up. They lost their last game to Aston Villa at home. I think they've had a really rocky run of games, which most of them have been at home. I don't think Fulham are that great away. So, to be honest, I think the ball's still in our court. But I suppose it depends on what sort of Manchester United turn up, as is seemingly most cases nowadays. As long as Casemiro and Mainu in our midfield should be okay tomorrow. We should. But, Manchester United is Manchester United. Shoulds don't always necessarily translate into wills, which is a shame. It's a shame. Perhaps alternate Bruno and McTominay with one of them as a false nine, maybe. And I suppose that's the biggest dilemma: is what does the manager go with? By the tune of what's coming out the training ground, that Forsen is set to be given the opportunity, as recent training sessions have depicted him having trained in a front three dynamic with Garnacho and Rashford. So I'm assuming, if that information is to be believed, that Forsen is in the mainframe picture to starting tomorrow afternoon. Whether that's actually true or not, I think the proof's going to be in the pudding when we hit 3 o'clock, or actually 2 o'clock tomorrow, as we are a 3 o'clock Saturday kickoff game. It's going to be an interesting one. It is going to be a very, very interesting one. I'm looking forward to it, but at the same time, not looking forward to it. I can't really watch the game as I'm busy at work. Annoyingly, retail doesn't give you the weekends off to be able to see your team plays or to analyze what your team is doing. So it's going to have to be one of those things that I'm just going to have to keep tabs on it, find out from everywhere else what the story is, and decipher how I feel about it. Just before we wrap up on things as well, quick addressal with another bit of news that's come out as well. I suppose it's just several bits of news about the manager positions, and all sorts of talk about, what was it, Thomas Tuchel wants to come back to the Premier League, is weighing up Manchester United, and it's like, no, Thomas Tuchel, stay away. We don't want you at Manchester United. Now we have Julian Nagelsmann. Julian Nagelsmann is now being linked with Manchester United as well. And is that a story, or are these all stories in reaction to Sir Jim Ratcliffe's comments about the Manchester United managerial situation as to what the plan is going to be? Because maybe there is a bit of truth behind or I would say legitimacy behind the reports, if it is with what Sir Jim Ratcliffe has said is actually, it is exactly how you're reading it. It's not that he's meaning something else, or anything's getting lost in translation. But really looking at this situation, I think right now it's just noise. And again, it goes back to who is currently at Manchester United, who's currently employed, who's got decisions and influences and powers at the moment. Sir Jim Ratcliffe, Ineos, they have got the power, but they don't have a head of recruitment, they don't have a director of football, and they don't have a sporting director. There's three positions that they want ideally to have filled out, and I don't think anything like that's really going to happen. Or in terms of manager, I don't think anything's going to happen with a manager without having those three in charge. And hopefully that happens soon, so that it gives clarity to the Manchester United manager's position as well. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for. Would I take Nagelsmann? It depends on what goes on with Ten Hag, to be honest. It really, really does, because whilst Nagelsmann, he can be a good coach. He can be a good coach. Is he a world beater? Not too sure. He was doing all right with Bayern. Until Thomas Tuchel took over. Somebody else has been linked with the job. I don't want Thomas Tuchel. I think that guy is... he's not hitting the mark. He is not hitting the mark. And he's very much on the way to losing out the Bundesliga title to Bayer Leverkusen of all teams, with Harry Kane in the team as well. So it's not looking good, bruv. It's not looking good, bruv. But hey ho, if Ten Hag ends up getting the boot, would I consider Julian Nagelsmann? He might fit the bill for what Ineos are looking for. Because as the comments of one Sergio Ratcliffe has said, that they want to have a unanimous decision, a unanimous agreement, and a unanimous direction. Just an altogether unified direction where everyone wants the same thing, everyone's on the same wavelength. The manager comes in, and you are to be a manager that fits the mould of Manchester United. The club establishes a direction, and the club hires according to that direction. So it would be the most clued in that Manchester United have ever been, since Sir Alex Ferguson, of course. But still, it's clued in. It's an engaged. It's a club with, the brains are engaged. People are thinking about what's going on, what to do, where to go. At least that's a positive that we can take away. So, do you know what? If Julian Nagelsmann is considered who Ineos would want if Ten Hag is to go, then I back their decision. I have to support their decision. Who does Ineos go for? Because at the end of the day, their ambitions is to win. And whilst fans can agree or disagree with managerial appointments, they might say, "Oh, that's a great appointment," or they might say, "Oh, I'm not too sure about that appointment." Swings and roundabouts. If people are going to feel positive and negative about all sorts, no matter what it is you do. It all just comes down to what the board, what their ambition is at the very top of the club, and what decisions they're making in accordance to that direction, that they're in accordance to that ambition. So, um, yeah, essentially that's kind of where I stand on things. Catch you soon. Catch you again soon, buddy. Hopefully, we secure 3 points tomorrow. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Big ups to you, Stephanie. Thank you very much for tuning in, and take care. I'm sure we'll see you. Match reaction on tomorrow would be later on in the evening. There is also the 8 o'clock kickoff between Arsenal versus Newcastle, and Tony Cole Gunner TV, somebody who I featured on a show with yesterday over on his channel. If you're on this channel, it's linked as a post. The link to that show is back there. Literally 1 hour, literally pretty much thereabouts on the dot 1 hour discussion, talking about things Manchester United, and of course the laughable Arsenal performance midweek, which was interesting to say the least. But yeah, do be sure to check that out. But also with the match reaction tomorrow, again, hopefully we're talking about a win. Hopefully it's something that we can be positive about, and hopefully it gives us some, we see some good things, such as perhaps if Murray Forson starts and he plays well, he gets himself a goal or something in a win. That would be fantastic. Whether that happens or not, we have to see. But match reaction, do be sure to keep the eyes and ears peeled for that. That should be coming. I'd imagine, hopefully before 8 o'clock. I'll try and aim somewhere around 7:30 to 8 o'clock. I know the game kicks off at 8. Either that. Actually, I don't know which way around. I'll probably try and do the match reaction or squeeze it in first before doing jumping on a watch along with Tony Claw Gunner. But yeah, I'll ask I'll ask him to drop me the link to the watch along so I can squeeze in the match reaction to our game tomorrow, and then I'll link us over, jump into the watch along for the Arsenal Newcastle game, which I'm sure we're going to have a very interesting panel for that watch along. So I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm looking forward to it. But anyway, so I'm going to wrap things up there. Thank you very much to everybody for watching. Make sure you are smashing them likes and subscribing if you're watching on the playbacks and all that fantastic stuff. Appreciate all love and support that everybody shows to the channel and to the videos and the streams. And yeah, thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your Friday nights, and it's weekend tomorrow, and Premier League is live and kicking. And not only just the Premier League, but I think also, I don't know if it's, is it tomorrow? Nope. I think it's Sunday. I think it is Sunday. Yeah, Sunday. Chelsea versus Liverpool, EFL Cup final. Big game on the Sunday. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. Looking forward to this weekend, for football. I am looking forward to this weekend. It's going to be an action-packed weekend. But anyways, I will love you and leave you. Take care, everybody. And yeah, we'll see you again tomorrow. Oh, everyone's tuned in last second here. I'll quickly read out these comments and I'll jump off. Let's go Fulham on these brats who have literal cricket pavilion call their old cottage. But big ups Stakeland. And big ups to Tony Cord as well. Make sure also in the channel post section, link to yesterday's stream on Tony Corgana's channel as well. Hour-long chat, really good stream. Do be sure to check that out. But also tune in tomorrow over here for the Arsenal versus Newcastle watch along. It's gonna be a banger of a game. Banger of a game and banger of a watch along stream. Make sure to tune in for that. Good stuff, good stuff. Come on, 3-1 win for us. Big ups to Clint. Get the positivity going. Get the positive vibes. Get people feeling in the mood. But yeah, big ups to everybody. Thank you very much. Take care. We'll see you tomorrow.